Every 60 seconds someone is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. There's currently no cure for Alzheimer, which make what this doctor and his team made more amazing. Stay with me until the end because he even shared how to prevent the disease, reducing your chances of having it. I've heard this podcast called The Doctor's Pharmacy. Make sure you follow it because it has amazing content with awesome guests. His name is Richard Isaacson and he's a neurologist in New York City. He was invited to the podcast by Dr. Mark, which is the owner of the podcast, and Dr. Richard shared what in my point of view was some kind of a miracle. He recently had a patient in his early 50s that was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. The problem with this patient was the unclarity of the recommendations he had. The patient had to make exercise and eat healthy, but without a plan or clinical precision, that's not helpful at all. But then he got to know Dr. Richard, and that was when everything changed. The patient was told everything to do with a detailed and individual plan. The doctor started with changing one of the drugs he was prescribed because of a genetic problem he found on his DNA. Then he added some supplements and vitamins, changing his entire framework and removing some of the drugs he used before. Just for you to have an idea, he's on fewer drugs than he was before meeting this doctor. He had a really detailed plan in important areas of his life, eating, supplementing and exercising. And the result? This patient is no longer having mild cognitive impairment, which is the stage between an expected cognitive decline of normal aging and the more serious decline of dementia. He still has preclinical Alzheimer, but he has no symptoms. I was amazed by this because, as you guys know, Alzheimer has no cure. And Dr. Richard defines this solution as comprehensive clinical care. The patient isn't cured, but if he has no symptoms, isn't this amazing? I saw this as a miracle, and Dr. Richard shared that Alzheimer's disease can be prevented. Alzheimer's disease starts in the brain 20 to 30 years before the first symptoms of memory loss begins. And there's the information that if the person makes healthy brain choices, that we can prevent 4 out of 10 Alzheimer's cases. Dr. Richard mentioned that you'll have almost 50 different things you can do to prevent Alzheimer's disease. I'll show you 3 things that you can start making today, and use them not only because of this, but because they're healthy practices by themselves, so you'll only have good reasons to do it. Learning new things is the first one. A new music instrument, a new language, things that will surely have the spillover effect in your brain. Be consistent with it and learn new stuff. The next one, exercise. You probably knew this one was coming, but the fact is that even your brain benefits from exercise, so make sure you practice it. Sleeping too. I love how he described sleep. It was something like this. During your sleep, the trash man comes, picks up the bags and leaves you with a fresh and clean brain. Make sure you sleep between 7 to 8 hours every day. Prioritize it. When you get older, you'll probably not have the same sleeping needs, but always point to 7 to 8 hours. But most importantly, and just to finish, all these practices will have to be adjusted for you to get the best out of it. Don't just eat vegetables and forget proteins, for example. Take this part of your life seriously, because every good habit you have today will surely give you a few more healthy days in the future. Always take good care of yourself. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy this type of content. I will leave the podcast's link in the description, go check it out, it's a really good one. And for now, I finished my video here. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This was Successology here, you'll never be average again. Peace.